Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Next Level Dispatch Training. This chapter is going to go over accessorials, which are, all type of additional things that may or may not be needed for a potential load that you are trying to get a driver on or to carry. So we'll be talking about those in this chapter, and without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, all right. The first accessorial we are going to talk about is tarping. Okay, so in general, a tarp is just a cover that goes over any type of freight and is generally used during times of bad weather. In the event that there's a storm coming, any type of rain, whatever the case may be, and the commodity cannot get wet, like certain types of wood and oh, I can't think of other things right now. I'm on the spot, but sometimes hay, if you're hauling hay, that's not supposed to get wet. Whatever it is, the broker will certainly let you know. Broker and or shipper will certainly let you know if it's required. But this is pretty much the most common accessorial that is used during transport. There's a really good chance, just depending on what you're taking, it may or may not need a tarp. So that's what a tarp is, and it just covers the material, and they come in different sizes. You have 4-foot tarps, 6-foot tarps, and 8-foot tarps. And again, it's just dependent upon really the size or the height rather of the commodity will determine what size tarps you need. If the product is under 4 feet, 4 feet or less, then you'll likely be able to use 4-foot tarps. And if it's under 6 feet, then you can use 6-foot tarps and so on and so forth. Um, so that's pretty much it on tarping. We're going to go right on to the next one. And tarps can be used for any type of open trailer. I mean, tarps can really go on anything, but again, obviously these will be used on open trailers. You're not going to need a tarp for a dry van, a box van, or like a Conestoga that comes with its own covering. Okay, so the only time you would be using tarps is if you're hauling for a flatbed or a step deck trailer or an RGN or a hotshot trailer, anything similar that's open. Okay, so that's what tarps are. Next thing we're going to talk about is load levelers. Load levelers are used to balance freight on the trailers. So, example here, well, let's start here. These are what load levelers look like, guys. They lay upright on the trailer, and typically these are going to be used with a step deck trailer. Okay, you wouldn't need load levelers for a flatbed because the flatbed trailer is already leveled. It only has one level to it, and it's a flat surface. So you wouldn't need one for that. But here in this bottom picture is a very good example. This obviously is a step deck. You can see here. Here's the first level of the step deck, and then we drop on down to the bottom part. Okay, and whatever this commodity is has been put on the front of the trailer at the very front on the top level. And to balance it, keep it balanced, you have right here this load leveler. Okay, so that's what load levelers are for. They just help to balance out whatever freight is going on the trailer. Okay, because without that there, obviously this would, whatever the heck this is, would be slanted and not safe to transport. Okay, so that's pretty much all a load leveler is. It's just it's used primarily on the step deck. I can't really think of any other trailer that would go on. Um, yeah, primarily for a step deck, and it's just used to balance the freight on the trailer. Okay, going right on to the next one. Okay, so the next accessorial is going to be loading ramps. Loading ramps are used to unload and offload vehicles for a trailer, okay, or whatever else is going on the trailer, but 95% of the time it would be some type of vehicles of some sort. Um, Forklifts, could be boom lifts, cars, whatever, anything with wheels, basically. So these are what the ramps look like. And these are all things that, uh, they're accessorials. They're things that drivers will have. So I just kind of want you to be familiar with, or they may or may not have. I just want you to be familiar with the lingo, what these are called, these accessorials are called, so that you can ask the drivers, whether or not they have those things and feel comfortable asking them. Because you don't want to ask a driver if they have something and not be familiar with it. You just want to sound confident when you're talking to the driver, like you know what you're talking about. So that's the purpose of us kind of going over these and just talking about the lingo and looking at the pictures. So anyway, these are ramps. This is what they look like. And a lot of times drivers will either store these like somewhere under the bottom of their trailer. Sometimes they have compartments for things like this. But these are all accessorials that drivers should have with them. If they own them, they should have them with them. So it's somewhere, either inside their trailer or under the trailer or whatever the case may be. These are what ramps look like, and you can see down here. Here's an example of them putting this. I don't know what type of truck that is, but some type of truck onto the vehicle. Without these ramps, obviously you would not be able to load this truck on here. You need some type of ramps to get it up on the deck safely. Um, the only other example I can give is that sometimes at loading docks, sometimes most of the time trailers are going to be the same level as loading docks. Okay, so for example, if you're trying to load a forklift onto a trailer and it has a loading dock, you wouldn't need to use these ramps because the dock, wherever it's coming from, the warehouse dock and the trailer are going to be the same height. Okay, so you could just roll it right off the warehouse dock onto the trailer. But let's say you're picking up a forklift at a warehouse that has a dock, right? So you roll it right off the dock onto the trailer, but wherever you're delivering it to, they do not have a dock. That's a perfect example of why you would need to have loading ramps, because you need to deliver the trailer, but they don't have a dock for you to safely get the forklift off of the trailer. You can't just roll it off. It will fall straight down, damage it, and there goes the forklift. So that's what loading ramps are, guys. Moving right along to the next the next accessorial is going to be dunnage. Dunnage is used for keeping freight sturdy and balanced. So here we have a perfect example. Let's say you've got some some boxes. This would be like a box van, so technically it isn't a good example, but it still serves the same purpose. Okay, it's even more important that you have dunnage on an open trailer, because if not, you'll have things flying off the trailer, hitting drivers that are behind you, causing all kind of wrecks on the freeway, and everything in between. So it's very important for flatbed and step deck drivers to have dunnage. But yes, it keeps the sturdy balance. This is dunnage. So you see how this is leveled in between the boxes for support. That's all it is. And it can come like this. Sometimes people use wood as dunnage. Doesn't really matter, but you need to have some type of the drivers should have some type of dunnage available and or accessible to them. But you might talk to a broker that says, this load is such and such commodity and it needs 8 pieces of dunnage. That's not uncommon for you to hear. So I want you to know what that looks like and what it means, so that you can when you relay the information back to the driver about the load, you know what you're talking about and you're confident about what it is you're saying. So you may have to call the driver and be like, "Hey Bob, I got this load and it's boxes of whatever insulation and it needs 4 pieces of dunnage. Do you have dunnage?" You'll say yes or no. So, but this is what dunnage is, guys. Moving right along, coil racks. Coil racks are used for securing coils on trailers. They may require the coil racks may require tarping. Not the coil racks, Jesus. The coils themselves may require tarping. So, a perfect example here. This is a coil rack, guys. And so this coil would sit onto, I think that's a coil rack under there. I'm pretty Pretty sure it is. But this is the rack that the coil would sit on to balance it. And then you would probably, need to chain it down, make sure it doesn't go anywhere while you're hauling it. But down here, this is a coil that has been tarped, okay? A coil that probably I'm pretty sure has a coil rack under it for security and has been strapped and or chained and tarped, okay? And that's what it looks like. You get a lot of loads that need coil racks as well. So if you get one, or if you call a broker and they say it needs coil racks, don't let that scare you. Just write it down, write that information down, call the driver, ask them if they have coil racks. Tell them it's you have a load that's hauling 3 coils, on the trailer, and you're going to need 3 sets of coil racks in order to haul it. So that's what coil racks are. Next accessorial we're going to talk about is pipe stakes. So pipe stakes are used to secure bundled piping on the trailers. So here are what the stakes look like, okay? And this is what it looks like when they are being used. It just keeps the pipes in place. Once you've put the pipes on the trailer, of course, you need to strap them down. But basically, these pipe stakes are just going to help to give additional support and keep them from going anywhere. A lot of times, brokers or shippers will say that the pipes need to be padded. Okay, up here, it doesn't look like these are padded. I can't tell, but for sure down here, these look like they're padded. And padding could be anything. You can wrap, some drivers wrap like carpet around their pipe stakes, or just anything so that it doesn't damage whatever the material may be. Okay, that's the purpose of that, of having padding on pipes, is just to make sure that whatever commodity you're hauling, in any event it scrapes up on the pipe stakes, bumps up on the pipe stakes, whatever, you don't want any damage to incur to the person that you're delivering those goods to. So that's what that is. I think this is the last accessorial. No, that would be this one. Okay. All right. So the next one is V-boards, or what are also called edge protectors. And these are used for protecting the corner borders of freight. Okay. So they're called V-boards because obviously they're in the shape of a V. And also called edge protectors, but they go on the edge or the corners of freight. So here you see, I honestly have no clue what these are, guys, but I can tell that they're in quantities. They're in bulk. It's not just one long piece of material. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on the corners of each of these pieces, they're going to put those edge protectors down to protect whatever this is, so that I guess maybe the straps or whatever don't bend or possibly break, whatever this is. It may be some type of foam material or something. I don't know. But again, these edge protectors or V-boards are just to protect the corner edges of this commodity. You put them on every corner, and they should be on the opposite side of this as well. So you may hear a broker or shipper say that, it needs edge protectors. Again, that's just information you want to take to the driver, and you want to sound like you know what you're talking about when you give that information to him. Now, I think that is the last accessorial. Let's see. Yep, that's it. All right, guys. So that's everything on accessorials. And again, I just kind of want you to be familiar with the lingo and some of the terminology. So when you're asking the brokers, or when the brokers are telling you any additional things that may be needed for the loads, you understand what they're asking for, and you're comfortable relaying those requirements to the driver. So I will see you guys over in the next chapter.